Good afternoon. Greetings of good health and well-being from the Romblon State University, Province of Romblon, Philippines. First of all, I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to Professor Adnan Yunis and the Institute of Horticultural Science, University of Agriculture in Faisalabad, Pakistan, for this opportunity of sharing with you some horticulture-related topic in the Philippines during this pandemic. I am Juniel G. Lucidos, a faculty of the College of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Forestry in Romblon State University, Philippines. I will share the topic entitled Plantdemic, the rise and spread of plantitos and plantitas in the Philippines during the COVID-19 pandemic. The flow of my presentation will focus on the following. First, the COVID-19 pandemic and lockdowns in the Philippines. Second, discussion points on plantdemic, the birth of plantitos and plantitas. Third, the importance of house plants or ornamental plants during pandemic. Fourth, plantdemic, its issues and challenges. And last one, I will be sharing to you the Payag Garden, my personal experiences as plantito. The COVID-19 pandemic has largely affected different sectors, including the agriculture sector, considering that the Philippines is an agricultural country. Lockdowns and quarantine measures have forced people to stay inside their homes, leading to the new normal of living and adaptation. The COVID-19 was declared as a public health emergency of international concerns by the World Health Organization last January 30, 2020, which was later characterized as a pandemic last March 11, 2020, due to the rising number of cases and deaths. This is according to the World Health Organization. The Philippines is one of the countries heavily affected by the COVID-19 pandemic and was under a state of calamity on March 16, 2020. The government has implemented enhanced community quarantine and general community quarantine specifications to restrict the movement of individuals. This is based on the Interagency Task Force on Emerging Infectious Diseases. The new normal has urged individuals to look for new and creative coping strategies during the series of lockdowns and quarantines. A gardening craze dubbed as plantdemic has drastically spread across the Philippines after coronavirus restrictions drove the demand for greenery, specifically on ornamentals or house plants. The term plantdemic is the rapid spread of those individuals who are crazy of collecting and growing ornamental plants or house plants. The latest gardening craze has not only spread to the rural areas, but also in urban areas in the country, prompting people to hunt more and more plants for themselves. The new breed of gardeners, commonly known locally as plantitas and plantitos, a plantita or plantito is a word play on the words plant plus aunt or uncle, which is tita and tito in Tagalog, signifying that it is usually older people who are into gardening. A plant lover can be associated with the philosophical term phytophilia or the love of plants, according to Marder and Vieira 2013. Fond of collecting and growing ornamental plants as a hobby, business, and mental stress reliever. In terms of other description of plantitos and plantitas, based on the study of Sunga and Advincula 2021, wherein they identified the different descriptions and characteristics of a plantito and a plantita. Number one is connection with nature. It is a way of connecting and interacting with nature, promoting their love and care for the environment and the mother nature itself is one of the characteristics of a plantito or a plantita. It resembles them as part of the environment and its system. The second one is nurturer. Similar to a parent who nurtures, care, and responsible for the growth and nourishment of their plants. They treated their plants as part of their family, like a child who needs care and support from a parent. Lastly is a psychological experience. something experiential associated with psychological or mental benefits such as positivity, good well-being, and happiness. A Facebook page, Green and Beyond Philippines, tried to categorize the level of being a plantito or a plantita. Based on the website, you are categorized as a novice plantito or plantita if you owns the basic easy to take care like succulents. Usually have them in those cute decorative pots. You are considered as advanced plantito or plantita if you have over 5 plant varieties. They name each one and talk to them once in a while. You are an expert plantita or plantito if you have over 10 plant varieties, which includes growing herbs and vegetables in pots, propagates them, and shares the plant babies with their friends. They sing to them once in a while. And you are already a legendary plantito or plantita if you have over 20 plant varieties, propagates and sells them. These plants have their own Spotify playlist for an afternoon music bath. I will be sharing to you some importance of ornamental plants or house plants during this pandemic, specifically on physical and mental health. Access to green spaces such as parks, gardens, forests, and fields is associated with a range of health benefits according to Tuhig, Bennett, and Jones 2018 and Van den Berg et al. In 2015. Numerous studies have identified links between exposure to green spaces and with nature and reduced stress, improved mood, increased life satisfaction, mental stimulation, and a reduced risk of mental health problems. Additional benefits of spending time in natural environments include physical exercise and better physical health, improved sleep quality, and social interaction. Because of the lockdowns and quarantines, the interaction with other people is hindered, thus plantitos and plantitas divert their attention to interact with plants or so-called people-plant interaction. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, says gardening is exercise. Activities like raking and cutting grass might fall under the category of light to moderate exercise, while shoveling, digging, and chopping wood might be considered vigorous exercise. Studies have found that physical exertion of working in a garden may help offset both age-related weight gain and childhood obesity. And researchers at the University of Pennsylvania reported that people who garden are more likely to get a solid 7 hours of sleep at night. According to the review article authored by Reyes et al., social or physical isolation, one of the recommended practices to curb the spread of the COVID virus, can lead to the development of several mental problems such as depression, stress, apathy, and loneliness. However, practices associated with the cultivation and contemplation of flowers and ornamental plants can be an option to aid in the care for the mental health of the population. It has been proven that hortitherapy helps in the treatment of mental illness, in the recovery of the patients. Biophilia, incorporated into architectural design and gardening as a hobby and occupational therapy, can also be used to improve physical and mental health. Enhance emotional well-being from doing home gardening. They found gardening as a natural stress reliever from stress and anxiety caused by the pandemic. Many of them experience positive changes in their mood. Home gardening as a way of diverting their negative thoughts and emotions. The COVID-19 pandemic and the different quarantine restrictions have produced many uncertainties. Home gardening has helped them restore their sense of purpose. Also, the process of nurturing plants and seeing them grow in number was considered an accomplishment. Activities can be done indoors, outdoors, or even virtual, with flowers and plants used as supporting instrument to make the population feel better, including the situation experienced by the period of seclusion. According to trivia, scientists have discovered that the mycobacterium found in soil can improve brain functions while boosting moods. The Mycobacterium bacchae found in the soil increases serotonin that produced in the brain. It is also known as the happy chemical. By getting your hands dirty, you're also making your brain happy. Because of the increasing demand for ornamental plants or house plants, there are several issues and challenges encountered. Number one is the surge in plant poaching. With surging demand, illegally poaching and obtaining of plants has also surged. Plant thieves and illegal loggers posted on social media some plant species that could only be found in the protected areas per Department of Environment and Natural Resources, or DENR. Removing threatened species from the forest is illegal under Philippine law and carries hefty penalties. Meanwhile, collecting other native plants is allowed but only with an official permit from the government or for research purposes. Second one is the overpricing of ornamental plants. Because of the increasing demands of ornamental plants or household plants, some plant seller tends to overprice. Demand, availability, the plant variety or species, the age and status or quality of the plant, even fashion, horticultural, and agricultural trends also affect how much a plant is priced at a particular time. It's also interesting to note that plant prices do fluctuate and change over time. Because of the restrictions and limited movements due to the pandemic, different plantitos and plantitas access and buy some ornamental plants through social media like Facebook, group chats in Messenger, emails, live selling, and the barter system. Barter system is an act of trading goods or services between two or more parties without the use of money. For example, teachers barter plants in exchange for school supplies. Now I will be sharing to you my personal experiences as plantito during the lockdowns and home quarantines. The concept of my home garden is called payag garden. The bahay kubo or nipahat, also known as payag in the Visayan languages, is a type of stilt house indigenous to the Philippines. It often serves as an icon of Philippine culture. Payag is designed with ornamental plants and other house plants. Payag plus garden equals payag garden. Because Philippines is a tropical country and most of the time the temperature is hot, especially during summer season, some family or household incorporated the payag or nipa hut in their backyards and landscape designs. The nipa hut is a combination of different native materials such as bamboo, wood, grass, nipa, or coconut leaves. Most Filipino house incorporated the nipa hut as part of their lone landscape design. The nipa hut also evolved through time and tagged as modern version of nipa huts incorporated in parks, house architectural designs, and resorts. Before pandemic, I am interested with ornamental plants but no time because of the busy schedules in the university. In March 2020, we're in lockdowns and community quarantine started because of the rapid increase of COVID cases. No movement and everyone is confined in the four corners of their houses and backyards. In order to be productive while on quarantine, I decided to re-landscape my backyard using some old collections of my mother's houseplants. And because of the increasing temperature, it is very hot during the day, I incorporated the nipa hut in the design. I also collected additional plants for additional greens in my backyard. Here are some examples of the transformation of my backyard into payag garden. So those are the sample pictures of the transformation of my backyards. Here are some of my plant collections, such as varieties of philodendrons, varieties of bromeliads, some ornamental ficus, sensation plants, and varieties of photos or ivies. Additional are ornamental palms, wave of love, and some varieties of begonias. I also incorporated some of additional features and accessories in my payag garden. I made some stone arts as additional entertainments for my nieces and nephews. Aside from the stone arts, I also added additional features and accessories in Payag Garden like outdoor lights that will add entertainment for my visitors and other family members. Another one is the stone designed pathways. I also made a mosaic diamond beads painting needlework as an accessory for my Payag garden. I also developed a wall garden that will add additional beauty in my house walls and additional plant racks. Some activities conducted in my Payag garden are we do there some family bandings with my nephews, with my family, and other friends. I also conducted my work from home activities in the Payag garden during quarantines and lockdowns. As a summary, here is the reasons why you should be a plantita or a plantito. Number one, finding time to relax is a good thing nowadays. A growing interest in cultivating a home garden has given birth to the trend of being a plantito or plantita. If you identify with this growing group of plant aficionados, stand proud. There are a lot of benefits to being a plant enthusiast. First, it's good for your mental health. Plants give you the feeling of being outdoors. When you see green, even if it's in your own garden, you feel refreshed and relaxed. It's good for the environment. Plants help improve the air quality in your home. It releases more oxygen and absorbs carbon dioxide. It boosts your productivity. Having a small plant on your desk helps personalize your space and beautifies your home office. You get a boost of inspiration from seeing them thrive. You feel a sense of accomplishment. As much as feel pride over raising your children and supporting your family, watching plants survive and grow gives you a deep sense of accomplishment. And lastly, you can bond over plants. With the limited socialization brought on by the pandemic protocols, you can connect with your brood over a shared love of plants. You can also reach out to like-minded enthusiasts by joining social media groups about plant parenting. And that's all, and thank you for listening.